Hi there, guys. Luis from Vintage Action. I hope you guys are all well. And today, guys, I'm going to give you my top Billy Blank's top 10. My top 10 movies when it comes to Billy Blank's. And, I was always a big fan of Billy Blank's growing up, watching his movies throughout the 90s. And today I'm going to give you my top 10 favorites. And, just to let you know, I'm going to try not to put his first movies that he had really like small roles, like literally like Low Blow, that it was his first movie with Cameron Mitchell, Leo Fong. So basically that was like a super small role like Driving Force, with Sam Jones as well, as he plays the bodyguard. He had like small roles in the Tongue and Cash, like Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis. So all these movies, some of these movies are great and movies that I do like, like China O'Brien 2 as well, that he had like a fight scene with Keith Cook as well, but he's not like the main guy in the movie, so it will be unfair for me like to put like those movies literally in the top 10 when that legend there is not even like the main guy in the movie, right? So literally, I'm going to put the movies that is the lead, or even is the main villain in the movie, or he has like a significant is part of the role, even if it's like a supporting role. It's a role that you see him like throughout the movie, not just like in a specific scene. So yeah, guys, let me just like start at number 10. The Last Kumite from 2024. This one has been released like 2 years ago, and this one, if you haven't seen before, this one is kind of the Expendables of martial arts, but like the B Expendables, not the ones with Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, Van Damme. Basically, this one reunited like Billy Blanks, Matthias Hughes, Kurt McKinney, Cynthia Rothrock, Michelle Kesey, and it's a nice movie. You have like the vibes like from the 80s, from the 90s, and obviously it's not the same as watching like the 80s, the 90s movies, but definitely as like a nice vibe, because obviously all these guys we grew up watching in these like B movies from the 80s and the 90s. They were not on the Expendables. That was just for the A-listers, the Dolph Lundgrens, the Jet Lis, the Van Dammes, right? It was nice to do like a martial arts movie with like young talent, young actors, but bringing back the guys from the 80s and the 90s. So a nice movie from 24, The Last Kumite, and this one is at number 10 on my list of Billy Blank's top 10 favorites. At number 9, Blood Feast from 1989, starring Don Wilson. And again, guys, you might say, you said you're not going to put like on the list movies that Billy didn't have like a significant like role. Why did you put Blood Feast? Let me tell you, even though he's not like the main actor in the movie, he's not the main villain, he has like an important role, and just his name in the movie, it's a great character like Black Rose. And this movie was super successful. Of course, a lot of people might say this is just like a knockoff, just a copy of like a Kickboxer. Who cares? Everyone copy that like the things that work in the 80s and the 90s. So in this movie, in the rentals, in the VHS world, this movie was super successful. This movie made a lot of money. It's a movie that is like famous worldwide. I mean, probably you cannot say the same about the sequels. They were not as successful. But the first Blood Feast movie was a super successful movie. It was the movie that made like Don Wilson like super famous. And this one was only the third or the fourth movie for Billy Blanks. And it was probably one of the movies that allow him to be in more roles, to be like invited to be in more action martial art movies. So this is an important movie in his like filmography, in his career. And there is some nice fight scenes in this one. And again, the original like VHS cover, the original DVD cover is like Don Wilson and Billy Blanks. This is the German Blu-ray, so this is like a new artwork. But if you guys remember, here is Billy Blanks, the original poster to Blood Fist. You have like Don Wilson and Billy Blanks on the poster. VHS DVD, so this one obviously had to be in my list because it's one of the most iconic B martial art movies of all time, and Billy Blanks it's on this one. So at number 8, Blood Feast from 1989. Now at number 9, so number 10, The Last Kumite. At number 9, Blood Feast. Now I'm going to number 8. At number 8, one that I really liked, but again, so it's like tough decisions. At number 8, Tough and the Deadly, as you can see here, Tough and the Deadly from 1995, starring Billy Blanks and Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper. And as you can see here, I remember like if it's today, this was the VHS cover, the Portuguese VHS cover. When this one was released, I had the VHS, and this was the cover for the Tough and Deadly. And actually, I watched this one first because you have Back in Action as well. And I watched this one first as I watched Back in Action, that is from 93, 94. So a super entertaining movie. Tough and Deadly, and you had like Roddy Piper and Billy Blanks reuniting for the second time after Back in Action. So at number 8 on my list, Tough and Deadly, Billy Blanks and Roddy Piper. Now at number 7 on my list, Back in Action. Again, the first time they met, they team up together, Billy Blanks and Roddy Piper. This is like a double bill here with another cult classic, Hard Case and the Fist. It's nothing to do with Billy Blanks, but actually it's a really nice movie. I might review this one day. But now at number 7 on my list, Back in Action from 93. Some places say 94, but probably it was like filmed in 93. And again, super fun, entertaining. The first time that Piper and you know Billy Blanks like team up together, and a lot of people think these ones are like this one is a sequel to this one, but in reality these movies are nothing to do with each other. So are completely different stories, like different characters, are unrelated. But obviously that when you see a movie in 93, Back in Action, you straight away think, oh, Tough and the Deadly is the sequel to Back in Action. In reality, it wasn't. But you know, this one was successful in the VHS world. You put Billy Blanks, you put Roddy Piper. What can go wrong? It's super fun, like entertaining. The only thing I would say is probably that you don't have like really nice, like great villains in these two movies. I think these two movies would have been like greater and way better if you had like great villains. If you have that last amazing fight martial arts scene between the two villains, right? Yeah. At number 7, Back in Action from 93. Now, at number 6 on my list, a movie that has many of like familiar faces, a super cult classic, Balance of Power, aka Hidden Tiger, from 1996, 97. This one, if you love like martial art movies, you need to watch this one. You can see here in the cover, Billy Blanks, Mako, and obviously you have the main villain is like James Liu, and obviously when you have two great martial artists like Billy Blanks, an amazing martial artist, and you have James Liu as well, another amazing martial artist, the fight scenes are great on this one. You can see here, this is like a great one of my favorites. I watched this one countless times growing up. Balance of Power from 1996. Billy Blanks versus like James Liu. Great action martial art movies from the 90s. No, I'm going to enter like the top 5 of Billy Blanks. At number 5, one of my favorites, and again I watched like countless times. Expect No Mercy, Billy Blanks, Jahal Mary. This is the Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome. And this is the original poster, the VHS I had, that was the original artwork here, like the original when it was released. And this one was always one of my favorites growing up. A great cast. You have Billy Blanks, you have Jahal Mary, you have like Billy Blanks' brother, like Michael Blanks on this one. You have like Wolf Larson as well. Anthony DeLongis as well. You have great martial artists on this one. Of course, there is some special effects. This is like in like a virtual world, and some of the scenes, the special effects are not like the best or anything. But when it comes to the fight scenes, this is super entertaining. I mean, everyone is on this one when it comes to great martial artists. So one of my favorites, without a doubt, growing up. Expect No Mercy with Blanks, Jahal Mary, another like Film One movie. And yeah, at number 5 on my list, Expect No Mercy from 1995. Now, number 4 on my list is a cult classic that a lot of people love. A lot of people love this one growing up. I'm talking about TC 2000. Here's like the original artwork. I remember going to the video store and seeing like a big poster on the wall, and that was the poster. Billy Blanks, just him on the poster. And believe me, this is an all-star cast. All the guys you love from the 90s are on this one. This is the new artwork from Vinegar Syndrome. You have Jahal Mary, you have Matthias Hughes, you have Bolo Young. So imagine 4 legendary martial artists, like action stars, and obviously you see like Matthias against like Bolo Young, Matthias against Billy Blanks. You have Jahal Mary. So this is a great cast. Like it's like in a futuristic world. You have action non-stop. A lot of martial arts scenes. So if you are a big fan of action, martial arts, you cannot miss this one. It's the year 2020, is mostly human and totally invincible until now. I mean, just this artwork here, guys, this is so iconic. TC 2000, number 4 on my list of Billy Blanks, TC 2000. Now let's go to the top 3 of Billy Blanks. And this, I love this. You like all the movies I have just shown it to you guys. I love all these like movies. They're all great, like amazing movies. I love all of these like movies. I watched them countless times growing up, but now I have to choose. So at number 3 on my list from 1993, the cult classic Showdown. You have Ken Scott, Ken MacLeod, the legendary Patrick Kilpatrick playing the bad guy, and you have like Billy Blanks playing the cop slash janitor, and in the last big fight scene of the movie, it's Billy Blanks against like Patrick Kilpatrick. So you cannot go wrong. And again, guys, again, like I said, you guys might say to me, okay, this is like even the poster. You have obviously Ken Scott, Ken MacLeod, but Billy Blanks is here like kicking Kilpatrick, and again, is here central. center of the poster. And again, you might say this is a Ken Scott movie. McLeod, you have Kilpatrick, yeah, but Billy Blanks is the big name on this one, even though the main story of the movie surrounds around like Ken Scott. Billy Blanks is the guy on this one, and the final fight scene, it's Billy Blanks on the final fight scene. So that's why when I told you guys I was going to choose movies that is like the main guy, or at least he's the main villain, and for me, I mean, Showdown. Billy Blanks is the star of the movie. Again, it's like in the last Kumite. It might not be on the on the poster, right on the main poster. It might not be the one with most like screen like time. But the last fight scene of like last Kumite is Billy Blanks against Matthias Yu. So every time you have like for us that grew up in the 80s and the 90s, the most important thing in a movie, it was that last final like fight scene, that last final battle between the good guy and the bad guy. The last 5, 10, 15 minutes of the movie, you would expect to see the hero of the movie fighting the bad guy. So in Showdown is no different. It's Billy and again, Billy has a great fight scene with James Liu on this one. And with Nicholas Hill as well, right? So an amazing movie, a movie that I watched like countless times growing up. I mean, Showdown. So Showdown is number 3 on my list of Billy Blanks. Now at number 2, a movie that I really love and I watched countless times growing up, from 1990. King of the Kickboxers. And as you can see here, this one is 50-50. Lauren Avedon is the star of the movie, but you cannot talk about King of the Kickboxers without talking about Billy Blanks. Because as you can see here, any poster you'll find is always Billy and Lauren Avedon. So this movie is like Lauren Avedon and like Billy Blanks. So one of the most like iconic martial art movies from all time. And I mean it from all time. I don't care what people say about King of the Kickboxers. A lot of people say, oh, it's cheesy, it's like awful. Let me tell you, I love B movies, and I don't care what people say. This movie right here, I watched it countless times, and for me, this is one of the best martial art movies of all time. And I couldn't care less people saying, oh, it's like a B movie, it's low budget. Amazing, great movie, shot like in Thailand, and this is iconic, like just like Billy Blanks playing Khan, and this was one of his first like movies after those like small roles he had. And again, he had Blood Feast in '89, and straight away jumped from Blood Feast to this one. That's why Blood Feast was important. So from 1990, number 2 on my list, King of the Kickboxers. And now number 1 on my list, and again, this is all like relative and it might be controversial to you guys, might not be your favorite, but my favorite, the one that I watched countless times, that was always a movie that I love. This one, I watched countless and countless times, the fight scenes. It's Talons, it's a movie, Talons of the Eagle, Billy Blanks, Jahal Mary, and this one has an all-star cast as well. You have Matthias Hughes, you have James Wong. And this one is super fun. It's super entertaining. I mean, everything you expect in a martial arts movie, you have like everything in Talons of the Eagle, because like the fight scenes are amazing. The fight scenes between Billy and Matthias Hughes. I mean, James Wong is a great actor. He always plays like a great villain. I think Jahal is great in this one, even though I know a lot of people don't like Jahal Mary because, basically all these movies, the Talons of the Eagle, TC 2000, Expect No Mercy, basically they were Film One movies. And, it was the guy, he had the company, Film One. So basically a lot of people say he put himself like in the movies because it was his company. He was the producer. So that's why he made himself like a big star. But in a way, that's true. That's reality. But at the same time, I think it was great. I'm not going to say Jahal Mary was my favorite, but if it wasn't for Jahal Mary, we'll ever have had like the Talons of the Eagle or like TC 2000 or Expect No Mercy, or like the Tiger Claws movies, Operation Golden Phoenix. So in a way, he had the vision. And Jahal, it was because of Jahal that we got a lot of these like action martial art cult classics. And definitely Talons of the Eagle is the one, like, probably the first time I've seen this one was, I don't know, like 95, around there, 96. This one is from 92. I rented on the video store. And since that moment, this movie is so fun, so entertaining. People can say whatever they want. And again, this artwork, the original poster, it's like iconic. So, yeah, number one on my list, Talons of the Eagle from 1992. And yeah, guys, this is my top 10 when it comes to Billy Blanks. Again, unfortunately, Billy Blanks, he didn't have like a big like filmography. Basically, his last big movie was Balance of Power in 96, 97. Unfortunately, then after that, he had like a few like cameos in some comedies. He was in that movie Kiss the Girls with Ashley Judd and Morgan Freeman. He's like a kickboxing martial arts instructor. And then he was like Jack and Jill, and The Clapper. Basically, it's like small cameo roles in comedies. And until the last comedy in 2024, and basically last year, the Circuit Part 4, another Film One movie. But to be honest, even though Billy is the main guy in The Circuit Part 4, and he's like Bolly Young's son is in that one as well, I'm not a big fan, I'm going to be honest. For his age, Billy looks amazing. He's still in great shape, obviously. It's one thing you can expect from Billy. He's an amazing martial artist. He's like... is always in amazing physical shape. He's like a machine. Even today, at his age, he's like literally. If I get to his age and in that physical shape, I'll be like super happy because if one thing Billy always was and is like a machine, an amazing athlete. So to take nothing away from it, but this last movie, The Circuit Part 4, the first Circuit movies, if you guys haven't seen, are great movies. Again, Film One movies. Jahal was behind all of those movies. You have like Olivier Gruner starring on those ones. You have guys like Brian Genesee, Michael Blanks, like Lorenzo Lamas. Actually, the first three, the Circuit movies, are great movies, and movies that I expect someone someday will release them on Blu-ray, and they can even put this last one, even though again it's not great. There's some nice fight scenes, but it's a little bit awkward. This The Circuit 4, because like you see the fight scenes, it's kind of like a cage, but without any audience, without fans. So them fighting, you can see this. The Circuit 4 is like low budget. It's like a B C movie, but. I'm not going to say like bad things about it because I love Billy Blanks. And again, they decided to go to a Circuit 4. 20 years after the last one, but that's okay. Nothing against it. I always like to see and it's a movie you can watch on YouTube on the Film One page, or even on Netflix. The Circuit 4 is on Netflix as well, and other streaming platforms. But yeah, this is my top 10 when it comes to Billy Blanks. And again, like I said, it's not like Billy Blanks have been like in loads of movies. There is like some movies I could say like Shadow Warriors, like that's the Assault on the Devil's Island, that has like Hulk Hogan, Carl Weathers, like Billy Drago, Martin Cobb. It's kind of like the Expendables before the Expendables. It's kind of like a B Expendables, but that was like a TV movie, a movie that I watched countless times. It's a nice movie, but again, Billy Blanks is not like the main guy. He has like a small role as well. This is mainly like it's Shannon Tweed in the movie as well. This is basically like a Hulk Hogan and like a Carl Weathers like movie basically. So yeah, guys, let me know what's your favorite. This is my top 10, and obviously it's only my top 10. You guys might your top 10 obviously might be completely different from mine, and obviously just let me know. Comment down below. Let me know which one is your favorite when it comes to Billy Blanks. I mean, I was always a big fan. I know a lot of you guys are big fans as well. You grew up watching his movies, so if you guys don't follow me on YouTube, basically what I do on my channel, I do reviews, unboxings, top 10s, everything related to the 80s and 90s action martial art movies, mainly 80s and 90s action, but not only. I review and I talk about like recent movies, but mainly the ones that involves the actors we grew up watching from the 80s and the 90s. Subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, will be helping me. And yeah, guys, let me know which one is your favorite when it comes to this legendary actor, martial artist, athlete, Billy Blanks. And as always, I'll be with you guys soon, reviewing, unboxing, and talking about these cult classics from the 80s and the 90s that we love and grew up watching. Keep strong.